Hello and welcome to the Bad Take. My name is Himal.
And I'm Thamara.
We're back after a while. It's been about, I think, a month.
Yeah, it's
a little
been
over a month.
a little more than a month, yeah.
So much has happened, and Thamara was away. He was out of the country. He's
Yeah.
been traveling quite a bit. And now we are back. So today we're just gonna have a quick catch up session on Thamara's travels.
Okay.
So, how was it?
It was really it was amazing by every sense of the word. I mean, it was a real great experience. So I was in Indonesia for 23 days.
Okay.
That was quite a long holiday by anybody's standards, I guess. But yeah, I felt like I needed it, and I quite enjoyed it.
Where did you go? Indonesia and
Yeah, so Indonesia is a huge country, of
Right.
course. There's a lot of, it's a set of islands. I went to Java, one of the main islands, and I flew into Jakarta and went eastward to a city called Bandung, then to a city called Yogyakarta. Then I went to two volcanoes called Bromo and Ijen, and then I took a ferry to Bali. Bali is a very well-known tourist destination. It's another island eastward of Java, and then there's another small island called Nusa Penida near Bali. I went there and then I came back. So 23 days in total.
So in 23 days you were able to cover all of that, and I mean, were you able to spend sufficient time in any one place?
Yeah. I in each
Because
city.
that's a lot of destinations.
Yes. So in Jakarta, I didn't spend a lot of time because it's just like a big city. It's like a big Colombo. There's nothing of interest. I mean, there are some places like.
Well, first of all, what do you think of Colombo? Is Colombo a place of interest?
I mean, not to me because I live here.
No, but okay, from a traveler's perspective, do you think Colombo would be an interesting travel destination or a city to explore?
I don't know. It really depends on what you're looking for, I guess. Colombo does have some places with some old charm that you can see if you really want to explore that side.
Okay.
But I mean, there's no nature in Colombo if that's what you're looking for. So I just wanted to spend some free time and just chill. So I didn't find the city attractive.
So when you say Jakarta was similar to Colombo,
Yeah.
how do you mean? In what terms?
Like the traffic jams, the amount of roads are always full of people.
Right.
And all that. Like it's very hectic. Life is very hectic there.
How are the
That's it.
roads?
Roads are, quite similar to Sri Lanka actually. A bit better, I guess. Even the transportation system is a bit more advanced than ours. The trains are really good, but public transport.
Do they arrive on time?
Yes, all the trains. I took trains everywhere to all these cities, and each and everyone arrived on time. And they were on time, so yeah.
Did you get a seat every time?
Yeah, because I did book seats in advance, so to go from each city to another, because sometimes they get filled up really quickly, so you might not, you might end up not having a train to go to a city that you want to go to. So I booked everything in advance.
How are the short distance buses and trains even? Do they tend to get really overcrowded here?
Yeah, they do get. I use buses only in Jakarta to get to a couple of places, and they were quite crowded even on weekday mornings. Even when most people are at work, they were quite crowded. So yeah, I guess as a city, it's not. I mean, it doesn't really offer a lot of attractions or even trendy or hip places if you want to, look for those. There's nothing much to see in Jakarta. They do have a couple of good museums, which I quite enjoyed.
What kind of museums?
They have a museum called Museum Bank.
Okay.
That basically gives you the history of the financial history of Indonesia. And one thing that if you ever go to Indonesia, one thing you'll realize is that the currency, where the currency stands. So the official currency is Indonesian rupiah, and one Sri Lankan rupee is equal to, I think, about 85 rupiah. I mean, it has gone down a lot during during recent history. So that museum told the story of what happened and what went on with their trade relations with other countries and how the currency got devalued. So if you want to like explore stuff like that, then they have good places in Jakarta. But that was it basically for me.
Okay, now before we proceed, walk us through your thought process.
Yeah.
In planning this trip, what made you want to go to Indonesia by yourself and spend 23 days there alone?
Right. Okay. So I take a holiday every year.
Okay.
That's mostly with my family. So we go somewhere, like we go to some other country and spend a couple of days there. And we've done that for the past couple of years. But this time I really wanted to do that by myself, because when you go with your family, like you really feel like you don't have the freedom to do what you want to do, like to explore the places that you want to explore. If you, for example, last year I went to Vietnam, and my parents and my brother were there, and our parents get because I mean they get really tired when you walk long distances, and they can't spend long days exploring. So I didn't really want to be constrained by those factors. I just wanted to spend, and I want to spend some time with myself and just relax for a bit. I've done that. I've been to Europe before alone, so I just wanted to try it this time somewhere in Asia.
Why 23 days? It feels like a long time.
Yeah, I was a couple of factors. When I was looking for tickets, so I got the ticket for really cheap, like 25,000 rupees, a two-way ticket. Like I had to select those 2 days to get that rate.
Right.
That was one reason.
Oh, that was one reason.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was just one reason. But then I also had the idea, maybe I will take about 3 weeks off. So yeah, both those kind of they came together, and then I decided I'll just take.
But how does something like that work with your work? I mean, you run a business, so can you afford to take so much time off?
Thankfully, yes, because Pavitra is there, and he was kind enough he was good enough to take care of stuff while I was gone. What usually happens is Pavitra doesn't take long holidays like that.
Right.
But what Pavitra does is like take a couple of holidays.
Like staggered holidays. Okay.
Throughout the year.
Right.
So I thought I'll do the.
So do you guys have like annual leave and stuff?
No, not yet. I mean,
it's just you and him, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We just like. I mean, if he's planned to go somewhere, he just tells me like a couple of months in advance, and I do the same. And then we try to plan our stuff around that.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But what happens when you start like hiring more people?
Yeah, then that will have to change, of course. Then we'll have to have a like a set number of days where you can give leave and stuff. Yeah. Okay.
So you decided that you wanted to go to Indonesia, and you looked at the air tickets, and you figured, okay, this is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, another reason was like Indonesia is one of the countries that you don't have to get visa for. Like visa is on arrival.
On arrival.
So it seemed like a.
That was quite recently, though, right?
I'm not sure.
Just a couple of years ago, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. So yeah, I didn't want to like deal with a lot of admin stuff also. Right. So I just wanted to just go and come back. So yeah, I thought it would be quite an easy
Indonesia?
Indonesia is a huge country, and I knew that there was a lot of stuff that I could see there. And I just thought, I don't know, I mean, I didn't have like a couple of options where I had to consider. I just thought, okay, maybe I can go to Indonesia, and then I looked at the visa procedure and stuff, and I found out that there was nothing to do. I could just get the ticket and go, and then I decided I'll just go there. It was a very a quick decision.
But Indonesia is also a very touristy kind of country, right?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on where you go, actually.
Right. And you don't really strike me as the tourist hotspot kind of guy. No. So did that not factor in your decision?
Yeah, I mean, it is. Tourism is quite big in Indonesia. It's one of their. I'm not sure about the specifics, but they do earn a lot from tourism and related like industries. But I didn't want to go to all the just the tourist hotspots.
I remember you saying something about not wanting to go to Bali.
Yeah, initially I didn't want to go. I do know that there are a lot of nice places to see there, but then I did have a couple of friends who had been there, and they were like, it's quite like commercialized and very touristy and full of drunk Australians and stuff, which
Australians.
didn't sound appealing to me at all. So I considered not going there, but then I thought I'll just check it out because I was there anyway, and I spent 7 days in Bali. Yeah, it was not. I mean, I didn't. Bali was. I think Bali was the place that I liked the least out of all the places that the places that I went to in Indonesia.
And did you spend 7 days there?
Yeah. Well, I spent 7 days in 2 cities.
Okay.
One about 3 days in Canggu and 4 more days in Ubud. So Canggu is near the beach.
Right.
That's where most of the tourists are. And that I didn't like, but Ubud is more like a laid back, very cozy, like it's like a sleepy town. I mean, it's full of tourists, but it's a lot better than some other parts of Bali, like Kuta, which I didn't even go to. So yeah, that was okay. And then I went to another small island, like relatively unknown island called Nusa Penida, which was really nice.
Better than Bali?
Yeah, it was better than Bali for me.
What was it like?
Nature wise, it was a lot like Sri Lanka. I mean Indonesia is a for the most part is a tropical country, and even Bali, they call like Bali the tropical paradise or whatever. That's their tourism slogan.
Right.
And Nusa Penida was the same. Like even most of vegetation, flora that you get there is quite similar to ours. It's quite hot. It's about 33-35 degrees every day.
Celsius?
Yeah, and it's quite like difficult to walk.
How was the humidity levels?
It's quite humid. Yeah, but so yeah, you do have to spend quite a bit of time in the sun, in the hot sun. But then you get some really amazing, nice beaches, and when you end up there, like it's very relaxing.
How much time did you spend on the beach?
On the beaches, I spent, I don't know. There was this one day that I spent like 6 hours in the beach. I went to the went and saw a couple of places in the morning, and then I went to a beach called Crystal Bay in Nusa Penida. There you can rent, like they have umbrellas along the beach, like umbrellas with like a small stool and a bean bag. You can rent those out, and it's like 50,000 rupiah, so that's about 600 rupees for how much time you want. So you can spend any time there. So I rented out one of those and I stayed there. I went there at 12:30 and I stayed there until sunset at 6:30.
And you didn't get baked in the sun?
No, because you have the...
Yeah, but still, it's like 30-something degrees, you said, and it's pretty humid.
So what you do is you go in the water.
Okay.
And then you come back and dry off. You drink a coconut. And then you go back in the water and you repeat.
Look out for pictures of Thamara in beach shots in the show notes. So you sit there and you just while away the hours. Do you read or do you just...
I read a bit there. That's all I did. I read a little bit.
Did you sit and contemplate life?
The
meaning of life?
I thought about stuff, I think. I don't remember what I thought about, but I don't know. I must have had some thoughts. Yeah, that was just proper chilling. Like I did nothing. This is kind of related to that. Now you're big on meditation, right? A little bit, yeah.
So was there a larger purpose to this trip other than holidaying and chilling? Was it like that cliched journey of self-discovery? Was it one of those?
No, not at all. I just wanted to take some time off. That's all there was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was it?
Yeah, it was really like I came back very refreshed.
Okay.
So yeah, it worked in that sense. I got the break that I wanted to get. So,
Eat, pray, love.
I did the first one a lot, yeah, but I did lose quite a bit of weight.
Yeah, how was the food?
Food is, quite good. You can almost eat almost any of the dishes that they have. So the famed nasi goreng comes from Indonesia, and the rice dishes that they cook are quite oily, and some people might not like that, but I quite enjoyed the food.
How does their nasi goreng compare to ours?
For me, it was less spicy than some of the stuff that I've eaten here.
Okay.
but more like more rich in flavor. Maybe they use some herbs that or like some other, I don't know, condiments that we don't really use. I don't know.
So
But
is Indonesian food generally spicy or no?
It's generally like sometimes it's very bland. Like they eat very dry food. Sometimes it's just like rice and maybe some fried vegetables. There's no gravy. You can add stuff if you want to.
Okay.
But you can make it as spicy as you want it to be. You can get like side dishes with just chilies.
Okay.
Like, so yeah, it's quite diverse, I think, and almost all of it is. Sri Lankans can eat almost anything there.
How much is the nasi goreng?
So it depends on where you get it, of course. If
Like
you
on
go
the beach, I'm guessing on the beach the prices were probably jacked up, right?
Yeah, they were. I think if you get it at a small roadside eatery, it's about, I think, 20,000 rupiah. So that's about 250, 300 rupees, maybe.
Is it really weird dealing with that currency, like in those figures, like
Yeah,
50,000,
you
20,000
yes.
for
Yeah, you have to get used
some
to
food?
it. Yeah. Takes a bit of time to get used to it, but yeah, it was a little weird at first when you like basically go to the currency exchange and get your money exchanged. First you feel like,
Oh, you're loaded. Oh my god.
fucking millionaire.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, that was fun.
So like when you pay 20,000 rupiah for a nasi goreng, like you pay in how many banknotes?
So there's 120,000. So they have they don't have 1,000 notes. They have coins for 500 and 1,000.
Okay.
And then there's 2,000 notes, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000.
Tell us about the people. What were they like?
I did meet
I mean
quite
the
a lot
locals,
of
not
yes. I did meet quite a lot of locals and like very good, genuinely good people. Mostly in Java actually. So I spent 2 days in Jakarta, and I went to a city called Bandung, and there, so I stayed in hostels in all these cities. And the good thing with hostels is like you get close to the staff as well. Like they really become friendly with you. And there I met like these are the type of people that you can really feel genuinely good. They don't have any ulterior motives when they are treating you well. But things did change a little bit in Bali, because I felt like everyone's just out to get your money sort of thing. Like you can feel it. Like they have something to sell you.
Right.
Like because Bali is quite commercialized and they get a lot of tourists. Even the livelihoods of those people have been changing quite a lot. So they still have a lot of people engaging in agriculture, but then all those lands are taken up rapidly by hotels, these homestays, hostels, people dealing with the tourism industry directly or indirectly. So they kind of have to move on from what they've been used to traditionally as well. There's that side of it as well, but then like people, for some reason or the other, they want to get something out of you. That's what I felt in Bali. That's one of the reasons I didn't like it that much.
So that's not unlike some of our tourist hotspots, like
I guess yeah.
Marissa and
Yeah.
So I was looking at your pictures and
Right.
on Instagram. You guys have to follow Thamara on Instagram. Some really genuinely good pictures. What's your handle?
It's Thamara _Kandavadu. So
Yes, go do that. So anyway, in those pictures there were, I think, references to people you had met, like friends you had met
right
along the way.
Yeah.
Talk to us about them.
So yeah, I did. I mean, not just locals. I met a lot of
International friends, yeah.
travelers, tourists as well. And the good thing about staying in hostels is you really get to interact with these people, because in every you sleep in dorm rooms.
Okay.
And in every hostel there's like a common room where everyone gets together for breakfast, and you get to talk with those people and all that. And I met one girl from England. She used to be a filmmaker, and then she quit her job and she's now traveling all over the world. Like I think she's doing freelance stuff to fund that. and she's just, I think, going wherever she feels
What kind
like
of work
going.
does she do? Freelance?
Like video editing, film.
That's enough to fund her
yeah,
travels.
I guess.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah,
man, white people have all the luck.
in a way, yeah, I think so. Well, I met quite a bit of people like that. People who work with their job. Some people were just taking a break. Like some people were taking extended breaks for like 6 or 7 months, but some for like a couple of weeks. I met another girl from England. She used to be a journalist
Okay.
for the Telegraph, and now she's traveling.
Who is funding her trip?
I don't know. I didn't quite get to the details. There was a guy from Rotterdam, Netherlands. He's a furniture maker. So he's taking an extended break with a friend. So he was in Indonesia. I think next month he's coming to Sri Lanka.
Oh, cool.
So
Are you gonna meet them?
yeah, I'll probably meet up with him.
Okay, that's awesome.
And then he's going to Australia, and then Cambodia or somewhere, and then back to South Africa, and like he has a whole trip planned out. So yeah, different kinds of people who just wander around, I think.
Tell me about this journalist. I'm very curious and also very, very jealous. Like from a journalist salary, you can take a year off and travel the world. Wow.
Well, it also depends because they're coming to Asia, right?
Right.
There's a huge difference in the value of goods and all that stuff. Even air tickets, I
Yeah,
think.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the reasons they come to
Yeah. Also,
Asia,
like the
I
salary
guess.
scales, obviously,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
very different. So.
And like I met one person. What she basically said was so she has saved up some money from I'm not quite sure what she did, what her profession was, but then she had saved up some money, and she's gonna travel until she runs out of money in her bank account, and then she'll go back and find a job.
How old are these people on average?
My age, 24. This filmmaker girl from England was 22. So yeah, around that age, early 20s mostly. Yeah.
I guess I think I'm a little too old to try this now. Yeah, that's okay. I shall live vicariously through you people. So what else did you learn?
What did I learn? Well, I mean, it's quite. I think we tend to like not talk about the value of taking a break. I really felt like it was like when I came back, I really felt refreshed. So I thought taking some time off from work and not doing anything and.
Hold on, did you really take time off from work? Because I heard that you were actually doing some work while you were there.
I did look at a couple of emails and then send some
Okay.
replies. That was it. I didn't do. I mean, I didn't do anything apart from that. Pavitra took care of all of the stuff.
So you like completely went off the grid?
I didn't go off the grid. Like I was always contactable.
Yeah, because you were pretty active on Instagram.
Yeah, I was posting stuff all
Yeah.
the time because I took like some. I mean, I was amazed at the quality of pictures that I took
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like I went to some really amazing places, and yeah, they did have an impact on me. I promise myself like I will take like at least a 2-week break maybe every year somewhere.
Oh,
I mean, I don't have to go out of the country. It can
Right.
be in Sri Lanka, and there's a lot of places that I haven't visited in Sri Lanka, so maybe I'll do that. So yeah, we tend to get like hung up on all our work and professional goals and all that. So yeah, maybe take a break sometime.
this is very interesting coming from a perpetually busy guy who's like working around the clock. I mean, I don't know if I can. Am I at liberty to say this? Thamara has like I don't know. I think he used to have a sleep schedule.
I still do.
Oh, you still have a sleep schedule. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Okay.
but
you're like, you're that
but I
methodical,
sleep
you're
more
that-
now. Like I used to sleep 5 hours, now I sleep 6 hours. So
I guess when you're this organized, it kind of makes sense for you to like kind of.
yeah, I guess like
take
forget
off,
everything. Yes, yeah.
But did you find yourself like itching to get back to work or to like put your mind on something and get to like at least do some work on your laptop or anything like that?
So the first couple of days was a little weird because I didn't quite have a plan about I didn't plan everything. I planned some stuff that I wanted to go to this city and that city next and next to the other one, but then I didn't plan like every day which places I wanted to visit and all that
Right.
stuff. So that felt kind of weird because I'm always used to like pre-planning everything and
Yeah.
booking all the tickets in advance and all that stuff.
You did take one day tour though, right?
Yes, because
Yeah.
the last island I went to,
Yeah.
Nusa Penida, I didn't have plans of going there first.
Right.
But I met a guy, a Taiwanese guy who's also like traveling around the world, in a city called Yogyakarta, that's in Java, and he was in Bali before, so he told me about this island, and he said that I really should go and have a look. So I just went there.
So, like, since you are so organized,
Yeah.
would you recommend taking the occasional risk like that, like just to move out of your comfort zone, so to speak? And
I don't know. I wouldn't recommend anyone everything, but all I can say is like it for me it was a nice experience. I quite enjoyed it.
but you may well have ended up somewhere you didn't want to be. And,
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
I mean that
that's
could
a
always
gamble
be-
you have to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean there was in the last few days. So in the last island I went to, Nusa Penida, they only have 2 ATMs.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't take enough cash from Bali,
Mhm.
so I ran out of cash in Nusa Penida, and I went to the 2 ATMs, and like those 2 ATMs didn't accept any of my cards, Visa, Mastercard, nothing worked. So I was out of money, and I didn't have money to pay the driver that I had there. I didn't have money to pay the hostel.
How much did you owe them?
I owe the driver 300,000.
So that's like what, 3,000 rupees?
That's like 3,500 rupees.
Okay.
And then I had to take a speedboat back to Bali in order to get the flight back.
Okay.
So I didn't have money for that.
So you were basically fucked.
Yeah. So I basically stranded there. So I was looking for options, and I even asked Pavitra to send me some money through international bank transfer, and he even went to the bank, and they said they can't do it. Like they can't do transfers like that unless it's like a payment for a university or something educational or something like that. So that didn't work out. So I reached out to some guys that I met in Indonesia, and that one guy had a PayPal account. So I sent him some money through PayPal. He deposited that money to the hostel's bank account.
Gosh.
And then the hostel, those guys gave me cash.
That's oh, what a nice guy. I mean,
Yeah.
went through a lot of. I hope you were sufficiently grateful.
Yeah. I think I was.
Did you
At
take him
least.
out for a drink? No.
So it was like.
Damn it.
So one other thing is, now I said like I didn't like Bali that much because of the people, but Nusa Penida is totally different. Like those people, like they haven't been. A lot of people go there now, but it's not as popular as Bali, and not a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people take like day trips, just go there and come back. They don't stay there a lot, so they don't have a lot of hostels and hotels and like hip cafes and stuff as much as Bali does. So those people I felt like are still really helpful, and it was very different from Bali. So the guys at the hostel, like, I'm really grateful to them because they agreed to like give me cash if I could figure out a way to send money to their bank account.
So what's your next destination?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
Well, you're like the planning kind of guy. Wow.
So one thing that I do know is I want to go back to Indonesia.
Oh, really?
Because there's still a lot of like there's Sumatra, like it's even bigger than Java, that island. So Sumatra is there, and there are some really nice places in Borneo. There's another big island called Sulawesi, which was hit by the earthquake a couple of years back. There's Papua, so that part of Indonesia. There's Komodo. There's still a lot more to explore in Indonesia. And I really like the experience there. I like the people for the most part. I like the food and everything. So
How was the wildlife? Did you see any?
No, mostly just birds.
Hmm.
There was this one part in Bali where so there's a famous Balinese coffee called coffee luwak. there's this cat, like kind of cat called the civet, and
Like a wildcat?
yeah, it's a wild cat.
Okay.
So he eats the coffee, the cherries, and it defecates the coffee beans.
Okay.
And people collect those, wash those up, dry those, and then make the coffee out of that. And it's really expensive. Like it's one of the luxury coffees coming out of Bali. I bought some.
Hold on. Why is it important for it to go through the cat?
That's how, I don't know. It goes through some fermentation process,
Okay.
whatever. Like that's
Oh,
what
interesting.
it gives It's a very smooth
Right.
coffee. Like people pay up to like $90 for a cup of
Okay.
coffee. That coffee.
What's it called again?
It's called coffee luwak.
Okay.
And I bought some coffee powder. I bought 50 grams, and that cost like 3,000 rupees.
Coffee made out of cat poop.
Technically cat poop, yes.
No,
And
did
you
you
can
bring
see-
any with you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, awesome. Okay, let's try sometime.
We're actually going to try this on Pavitra's vlog. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Cool.
There are places in Bali where you can actually go to one of those coffee plantations and
Okay.
see the whole process.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I went to one of those places as well. Yeah, so it was quite interesting, all in all.
So, let's try to like offer some advice to would-be travelers.
Okay.
If somebody wants to do what you did,
Right.
take some time off, like a
Right.
few weeks, and like
Right.
doesn't have to be Indonesia, wherever they want to go. Like, what would be your advice to them?
Again, I don't want to like dispense any advice, but I mean, what I would do is planning is required to a certain extent, I think. So it's important to like figure out the logistics. Like,
By certain extent, he means like extents, as in like obsessively plan, like
no, like I mean, you have to.
extensively. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I hadn't booked the flight back from Bali until I went there.
Right.
And some people just do that. Like if you have a lot of time on your hands, then you can afford to do that. But I didn't, and I wanted to like know the exact dates of when I'm gonna return and all that. So I had some of that planned out. So I think that's important. And I think then the other thing is accommodation. So for me, I didn't want to stay in like luxury hotels or whatever. I stayed in hostels all
Right
the way.
throughout the trip.
Yeah. And if you want to like meet a lot of people from different parts of the world, I think that's the best way to go. And there are some really, I'm not sure about if you're traveling inside Sri Lanka. I'm not really sure about the situation, but in almost all countries, all the places that I've been to, like that they have really good hostels, like with free breakfast and good clean places and toilets and all that stuff.
So you slept in bunk beds.
Yeah, bunk beds.
Was personal space ever an issue?
No, I mean, I don't remember it ever being an issue. I'm a person who likes to be alone a lot, but I didn't really find that to be an issue when I stayed in those places. You can find good places to stay, but also when it comes to planning, it's important to like plan that part out as well, because good places get booked quite fast, and you might not end up getting like a good deal or whatever. So yeah, that I guess is important. Other than that, I'm not really sure whether I can give any advice. You do have to be careful, of course, because now I was not aware of this, but when I went to other cities in Indonesia, like people were telling me how dangerous Jakarta is. Apparently they have a big crime problem, and you have to be really careful if you're, especially if you're a tourist and you're walking alone at night or whatever, like there are mobs and stuff. I didn't really know about those things, but yeah, I guess it's a little important to like do some research on that part as well if you're going to a city that you've never been to before. Yeah, that's it basically. I don't know what else I can say.
Cool. I guess you'll be doing this again sometime, you said?
Yeah.
Are you going to keep doing this? Like, are you going to go alone every time now?
Yeah, alone.
That's your thing. Okay.
Yes, I want. When I was in Europe, I quite liked that experience. Because it's really like liberating to.
You went with co-workers though, right? To Europe?
No, I went. So it was mostly a work trip.
Right.
But I went alone. Like I was the only Sri Lankan there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was mostly a work trip, and then I took a little break during that time. So, I mean, if you've never really traveled alone, I think you should try doing it. It's quite.
How does it feel? Does it feel liberating?
Yeah, it does actually.
Cool. All right then. So that means I guess this means we're back.
Yeah, we are back.
Hopefully.
Let's get to work, Emma.
All right. Okay then. Catch you guys next episode. Peace.
Peace.